Okay, for my, I guess, a holiday snack for the Christmas Losers Challenge, I'm going to make this video and then I'm going to just give the link to the video on my Christmas Losers video because it has to be under 3 minutes. But I wanted to share this with everybody because I think this would be a good party snack for any time of the year. Good for kids, good for breakfast or anything like that. So it is peanut butter and jam granola. And I just thought that sounded interesting. It came from everydaydish.tv. I will also put the link to the actual recipe and video on the side as well. Okay, let me get to the ingredients. First, you're going to need 1/4 cup of peanut butter. It calls for creamy, but of course I only have crunchy. You can put this in the microwave if you need to loosen it up some. Then you're going to need 1/4 cup of jam, any kind that you'd like, or preserves. This is strawberry preserves, low sugar. There's no added sugar or sweeteners in that. Then you'll need 1/4 cup of just water. Then you need 1/4 cup of flour, but I don't think I'm going to need all this. You just add it 2 tablespoons at a time, and I'll show you that. You need 1.5 cups of oats. These are old-fashioned oats. I have a few quick cooking in the bottom, but that's what that is. Then it calls for 2 tablespoons of sugar, natural sugar, but I am using the Truvia. I'm going to use 4 packets. 1 packet is equal to 2 tablespoons of sweetness, but I'm just going to do 4 the packets and see how that does. Excuse me, 2 teaspoons of sweetness. But I'm just going to use this and see how that turns out. Okay, and then you will also need 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, ground cinnamon, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Alright, I'm going to get right to it. Go ahead and preheat your oven to 350, and you'll need a baking sheet or a cookie sheet. They use like a silicone mat, but I don't have that. I'm just going to spray it a little bit with some Pam. Okay, you start out with your peanut butter. And like I said, if you need to microwave this, go ahead. I already microwaved it, but it's already gotten cool on me. Not cool, but set back up. So I may have to do that again. But just get all of that out. And you can use less peanut butter if you feel like that's too much. But it makes a whole batch. So let me just get all this out of here. Okay. Now, and the creamy, of course, will work better. You could even make you up some PB2 and do this. If I had that, I would also do that. Okay, then you're going to add in your water and just kind of work that together. Yeah, this is going to be good. Just kind of mash it together and just work it in. This looks like hers, so except for the little peanut chunks I have in here. Now, I haven't figured out any of the nutrition stats. All you have to do is just look at each ingredient of yours if you want to figure that out, and just write down each ingredient and all the stats, and then see how much it adds up to, and then you can, see how many cups or half cups that this makes, and then you can figure out the nutrition stats just by dividing it that way. I guess I could do it, but I'm going to be lazy. So, there you go. Just get it incorporated. I'm going to go ahead and put in my sweetener. If you're not a weight loss surgery patient, you can use like natural sugar. It's only 2 tablespoons for the whole thing. But I'm going to use the Truvia. I'm assuming you could use Splenda if you like. I'm just going to go ahead and get this, kind of incorporated so it's not a bunch of gritty chunks. Of course, we're going to bake it, so you can just kind of mash it around. All right. Now we're going to combine the other ingredients with this. I'm going to put in the oats first. Then I'm going to put in the cinnamon. And the cinnamon, I'm just going to kind of eyeball this. It says 1/2 teaspoon. And that looks about right to me. 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I'm just going to do about that much. And this is just a different take on regular granola. It's not your run-of-the-mill with raisins and nuts and all that. And you're probably going to have to get your hands in this as well. See how it's starting to kind of clump up? And that's why we want to add a little bit of the flour at a time, because you don't want it too wet or too dry. So do about 2 tablespoons to start out with. And just get it all in there as much as you can. I'm going to start using my hands actually. Just kind of break it up a little bit. Alright, we're probably going to need some more of the flour. I'm going to go ahead and add all the rest, because she did in the recipe, but I just didn't want it to be too dry. But we're also going to add in that jam, so we don't want to just get it all crumbly. And it's softened up, but once you bake it, it's going to be, you know, crisp up again. And you bake it twice, really. Okay, let's put in the jam or the preserves, and that is 1/4 cup. And like she said, just kind of mix it around, but you don't have to kind of like completely mix the jam in, so you can get little pieces of the jam when you're eating the granola. That would be really good. Just make sure you have it, you know, pretty incorporated. Just kind of break it up a little bit. Alright, let me get my hands really quick. Okay, let me take this over there to the stove, and I already have the oven preheated to 350. I'm just going to spray this. This is I guess a big pizza pan or whatever. Just spray it, you know, so it doesn't stick. And then just put it all out on your cookie sheet. You can be a little more graceful than I'm being. And just spread it out so that it all cooks evenly. You don't want it in big clumps. I'm going to, with one of my hands, do this. You want to have some clumps, but you don't want to have so much that it, you know, just one big piece. Alright. That looks pretty good. Just get it in one layer. And then now we're going to put it in the oven for 10 minutes, and I will be back. Okay, after 10 minutes, you take it out and then you just kind of just break it up a little bit more if there's any huge clumps that you don't want. Just kind of stir it around, turn it over, and then just spread it back out. Alright, now you're going to put it back in for another 10 minutes. Okay, this is what it looks like when it comes out for the second time. It's a golden brown, and what you're going to do is just let it sit for like 10 or 15 minutes just to make sure it's hardened up. And before you store this, you need to make sure it's completely cool. But this is, if you can see that, peanut butter and jam granola.